The story opens with Kang Song-eung, who is a normal office worker who dreams of buying a house with his longtime girlfriend, Min-suk. The problem is money. They do not have enough savings. Kang Song-eung is romantic and believes love will fix everything. Min-suk is completely different. She is practical, good at maths, and very strict about spending money. She hates wasting money on fancy dates or emotional talks. She even rushed their relationship and suggested dating seriously to save money. Later, she asked Kang Song-eung to marry her early, not for a romance, but because married couples get better home loan benefits. Kang Song-eung agrees because he knows that even though Min-suk looks cold, she truly loves him in her own practical way. The story then focuses on Kang Song-eung's father, Mr. Kang. He lost everything during the IMF crisis and has lived his whole life in debt. Because of this, Kang Song-eung hates his father and sees him as irresponsible and useless. One day, Mr. Kang calls Kang Song-eung home, saying he wants to give him something important before retiring. There, Mr. Kang transfers a secret family power to Kang Song-eung. He explains that the Kang family has had a special power for generations, the power to help people in need. This power grows stronger when they have more money. However, every time they use it, all the cash they are carrying disappears and turns into useless coins. There are 3 strict rules. They must help quietly, never steal money, and never tell anyone about the power. The family usually borrows money from a loan shark woman named Jangja to use this power. Kang Song-eung is furious and rejects this burden. Kang Song-eung runs to Min-suk and shows her the power. She's shocked at first, but quickly starts analyzing it logically. She checks if the power can be used for personal benefit, but soon realizes there is no loophole. The power only works to help others. The next day, Min-suk gives Kang Song-eung strict instructions. He must carry very little cash, avoid helping anyone, and stay physically weak. Because of this, Kang Song-eung starts behaving strangely. He walks slowly, does not hold doors, and refuses to help people, even the elderly. His co-workers get angry, and his boss scolds him. At the same time, Kang Song-eung's wrist starts itching badly, and a strange rash begins to spread on his body. At home, Min-suk focuses fully on buying the apartment. After calculating everything, she says they still need 30 million won for the down payment. She starts selling Kang Song-eung's personal items that she thinks are unnecessary. To cheer him up a little, she allows him to buy a second-hand PS5. While buying it, the seller gives him the console very cheaply and even adds free games, saying he wants to save money for his children. Right after that, bullies attack the seller and steal his money. Kang Song-eung has 500,000 won with him. He knows that if he helps, the money will disappear. After struggling, he runs away instead of helping. When Kang Song-eung reaches home, Min-suk notices that 20,000 won is missing and scolds him. Kang Song-eung feels ashamed and miserable. He keeps thinking that poor people like him cannot afford to help others. Min-suk notices his sadness and gently comforts him, saying they should focus on living well together. But Kang Song-eung's condition gets worse. The rash spreads to his neck and arms. His mother visits and mentions that his father used to suffer from the same rash. Then she reveals the real reason for her visit. She gives Kang Song-eung 30 million won, her life savings, and tells him to live well, unlike his father. She also says that Mr. Kang has changed and planned a surprise trip to Spain for her. Kang Song-eung feels shocked, emotional, and hopeful at the same time. While calling Min-suk to tell her about the money, a terrible accident happens nearby. A bus full of people is about to fall off a bridge. Kang Song-eung realizes he cannot run away anymore. He uses his power to save the bus. As soon as he does, the entire 30 million won disappears. At the same time, the painful rashes on his body completely vanish. In the end, Kang Song-eung is left with only a pile of useless coins instead of the money. People praise him as a hero, but he stands silently, heartbroken yet proud, caught between loss and honor. The next part introduces Lee Hwa-jin. She is fighting a group of criminals and clearly has a dangerous superpower. She can control fire. With confidence, she defeats the thugs using flames. But the moment she openly uses her power, a new threat appears. That person is Joanna. She is cold, stylish, rich, and heartless. She mocks Hwa-jin and calls her useless. Before Hwa-jin can react, Anna's men attack her. Using freezing powers, they trap Hwa-jin and capture her alive. The story then moves to a convenience store, where we meet Ho-in, an alcoholic man, and Eun-mi, a short-tempered part-time worker. Both are worried about Hwa-jin. While watching their phones, they see viral videos of Sang-eun saving the bus. Ho-in becomes serious and says Sang-eun is the person they need. He believes Sang-eun can stop the growing war between superhumans. The scene then cuts to Sang-eun inside a police holding cell. Instead of being praised, he is bullied by other inmates. Scared and helpless, he calls the loan shark Jeongja for help. She bails him out, but immediately reveals the truth. Sang-eun's father owes her 3 billion won. Sang-eun panics and tries to run away, but Jeongja's men easily catch him and knock him out. The scene shifts to Byumha Ranch, Joanna's secret research lab. Here, her true cruelty is revealed. She has been capturing superhumans, removing their powers, and turning them into ordinary people. She then gives those powers to people she personally chooses. When a scientist asks for more time for safe testing, Anna slaps him and ignores all risks. She immediately transfers Hwa-jin's firepower to her new bodyguard. Back at Jeongja's hideout, Sang-eun wakes up. To test his ability, Jeongja orders her men to beat him. She watches closely to see how his power reacts. Angry that Sang-eun's father never married her, she gives Sang-eun a cruel condition. If he wants protection from Joanna, he must marry her daughter. Sang-eun is shocked and mentally broken. He suddenly runs away. Jeongja lets him go, believing fear will bring him back. Sang-eun returns home and finds Min-suk extremely upset. She says she can no longer depend on him and decides to leave. Sang-eun chases after her, but suddenly their apartment explodes. In the chaos, he sees Joanna's bodyguard and realizes someone is hunting him. With no safe place left, he hides at his parents' house and finds a letter left by his father. Meanwhile, Joanna watches Min-suk attending a wedding at a hotel and coldly decides to use her as bait. Soon after, a bomb explodes inside the hotel. At home, Sang-eun keeps calling Min-suk, but she ignores him. Then he sees the breaking news about the hotel explosion and remembers the wedding. He rushes out to save her, but realizes he has no money left. His father's letter is shown in detail. Dong-gi writes that he understands the pain of losing money after doing good. He says life is bearable only when someone is waiting for you. His final warning is clear: never use your savings account. The scene then cuts to Sang-eun doing the opposite. He withdraws all his savings. Sang-eun reaches the hotel just in time and saves Min-suk from a collapsing ceiling. She feels relieved, but quickly becomes angry when she realized he used all his money again. As Sang-eun helps the wedding guests escape, Min-suk stands silently, thinking deeply. When only the two of them are remaining, Sang-eun finally speaks honestly. He tells her that he has already registered their marriage. He even suggests opening a bank account in her name so she will be safe even if they divorce. Their honest and awkward talk make them laugh despite the danger. Before they can embrace, Joanna's bodyguard appears. Sang-eun tries to fight him, but is easily overpowered. As his money runs out, the bodyguard throws Sang-eun into the fire. Min-suk desperately tries to stop him. Suddenly, Sang-eun appears again and knocks the bodyguard out. But the truth is terrifying. He used someone else's wedding gift money to power his attack, breaking the rules. Min-suk panics as Sang-eun grows extremely weak. At that moment, Eun-mi and Ho-in break into the burning hotel. They calmly introduce themselves as members of the Society of Korean Superhumans. Ho-in even reveals that Sang-eun's father was his old friend. Surrounded by danger, debt, enemies, and impossible choices, Sang-eun can no longer endure the pressure. Completely overwhelmed, he finally collapses and loses consciousness, crushed by the weight of everything happening around him. After this incident, Song-eung wakes up inside Hoen's house, where he properly meets Hoen and Eunmi for the first time. Hoen explains who they are. He is actually a lawyer, and his strange superpower works through alcohol, which allows him to walk through walls. Eunmi is short-tempered, but strong. Her power is telekinesis, and she gains energy by eating food. Song-eung and Min-suk feel scared and uncomfortable and want to leave immediately. However, Hoen stops them and reminds them that their house has already been burned down. He then reveals the real danger. The people hunting Song-eung are called the Mundane Vanguard. They are normal humans, extremely rich, powerful, and they hate superhumans. The Jo family controls this group, and Song-eung is now their main target. Then, scene cuts to Jo Won-do, Anna's father. He stands beside his unconscious father and coldly promises revenge. Without hesitation, he kills his own father. After that, he orders Joanna to capture Song-eung at any cost. Back at Hoen's place, Hoen explains his true goal. As a lawyer, he wants to destroy the Mundane Vanguard legally by collecting proof of their crimes. Song-eung still wants to leave, but Hoen asks him why he saved the bus and the wedding guests if he wanted no trouble. Song-eung has no answer. Meanwhile, the police investigate the burned hotel. They find strange coins, no CCTV footage, but many guest phone videos. These videos clearly show Song-eung saving people. One video also shows Min-suk, and the lead detective decides she must be questioned. Finally, Song-eung agrees to join the superhumans, and his training begins. Training is harsh. Eunmi is rude and rough with him, which annoys Song-eung. Even with his power, he cannot hit Hoen once. Slowly, they train him to fight without using his power, focusing on balance, endurance, and control. Hoen explains their plan. They will secretly sabotage Vanguard activities and gather evidence. To hide Song-eung's identity, they give him a mask and tight white underwear so the coins do not fall out. Song-eung complains, but takes the mission seriously. Quietly, Song-eung starts becoming stronger. He beats up neighborhood bullies and feels proud for the first time. He secretly returns the stolen PS5 to its owner. From afar, Jung-ja watches, clearly amused. Min-suk notices Song-eung acting normal, but understands him. Instead of stopping him, she supports him. She takes a second job to save money for their apartment. Since she already submitted their marriage papers, she wins a newlywed housing benefit, meaning they are officially married. She gives Song-eung a regular allowance so he can train properly, and their bond grows stronger. Meanwhile, Joanna faces pressure from her father. She releases her anger on Dr. Soo-yeon, the lead scientist. The bodyguard who fought Song-eung is barely alive, but Anna cruelly orders Soo-yeon to inject him again, ignoring the danger. Soon, the team's first mission begins. They deliver coal briquettes to elderly people. Song-eung complains, but finishes the task without using his power. This mission is actually a cover to meet Old Man Do, a retired superhero who can see the future, but barely remembers the past. Old Man Do gives a frightening prophecy. He says Song-eung will lose his shine unless he risks his life. Suddenly, he sees a bomb in the future. At that moment, the Mundane Vanguard surrounds the alley. Hoen orders Song-eung to run while they fight. Song-eung runs, but then stops and turns back when he sees his friends losing. Desperate, he calls Jung-ja and promises anything for money. Jung-ja smiles and says she just spoke to her future son-in-law. Her employee removes her helmet. It is Min-suk. Back at the fight, Joanna arrives and mocks them. Old Man Do sees Anna's future and predicts her downfall and death by her own gun. Enraged, Anna shoots him, but Song-eung arrives and blocks the bullet using Jung-ja's money. Chaos breaks out. Hoen, Eunmi, and Old Man Do fight the soldiers. Song-eung faces the fully enhanced bodyguard, but his money keeps running out. In the final moment, Song-eung grabs the bodyguard tightly, and both fall off the cliff, disappearing into fire and smoke. Next scene begins with Sang-eun and Joanna's bodyguard falling into a pond. The bodyguard is still alive and attacks him again. Sang-un feels helpless and realizes the painful truth of his power. When he needs money the most, he has none. In desperation, he releases the useless coins from his body and throws them at the bodyguard. The coins finally knock the bodyguard out, ending the fight. Soon after, Jo Won-do calls Sang-un. Speaking calmly, he makes a shocking offer. He wants to buy Sang-un's superpower and promises to pay any amount he asks. To prove his sincerity, Won-do orders a temporary truce between the mundane vanguard and the superhumans. Sang-un is deeply conflicted. Accepting the offer could solve all his money problems, but it would cost him his identity and values. When the area is cleared, the police arrive. Detective Wong once again finds strange coins at the scene. He also discovers Sang-un's loan contract with Jeong-ja. Further investigation reveals that Sang-un is legally married to Min-suk, who was involved in the hotel incident. Suspicion around Sang-un grows stronger. Later, Sang-un goes to invite his parents to his wedding. After his mother steps inside, Sang-un confronts his father, Dong-gi, about the mundane vanguard. Dong-gi remains calm and distant. He tells Sang-un that he can accept Won-do's offer if he wants, but warns him that the vanguard cannot be trusted. Sang-un is hurt by his father's cold response and wants to express his childhood pain, but he stays silent. Dong-gi seems to already understand. Confused and emotionally heavy, Sang-un goes to Eunmi. As usual, she mocks him, but listens. She reveals a painful truth. Hwa Jin once told her that almost all superhumans sold their powers to the mundane vanguard, except their group. Worse, Ho-in already knew this and hid the truth. Feeling betrayed, Sang-un and Eunmi break into Ho-in's safe. Inside, they find secret files. Sang-un learns that his child will inherit his power no matter what, even if he sells it. Another file shows how much each former superhero sold their powers for. Eunmi is shocked to see that Hwa Jin sold her fire power for only 80 million won. Sang-un then sees his own file, which values his power at 1.3 billion won and labels him as likely to betray the team. This deeply wounds him. The story cuts to Ho-in receiving devastating news. He has liver cancer and does not have much time left. Still, he keeps drinking and completely avoids Eunmi. Meanwhile, at the Jo family house, Won-do angrily scolds Anna for failing. He is desperate to buy Sang-un's power quickly before Sang-un finds a loophole. Anna offers to fix the situation, but Won-do refuses, saying someone important is returning from the USA. Anna is humiliated and told to earn her dinner by finishing the deal. After long thought, Sang-un decides to be selfish for the first time. He asks for 4 billion won for his power. To his shock, Won-do immediately agrees. Sang-un feels relieved and hopeful. That night, he treats Min-suk kindly, buys her expensive ice cream, uses his power to take her around the city, promises a new apartment, and gives her a diamond ring. Min-suk feels uneasy, but chooses to trust him. The next day, Sang-un feels lighter and helps people willingly. At work, he meets a new client from the USA named Joe Nathan, who casually says he wants to change the world. Sang-un ignores it. Suddenly, Detective Wong appears. Panicking, Sang-un runs away. He urgently calls Won-do and demands that the sale be completed immediately. He then heads to Bomha Ranch, Joanna's research lab. Unawares, Jeong-ja's men secretly follow him. Soon, Ho-in and Eunmi also arrive. Ho-in tries to stop Sang-un, saying selling one's power is betrayal and weakness. Eunmi, angry at Ho-in for lying, supports Sang-un's decision. Ho-in drinks heavily to delay the process and a fight breaks out. During the chaos, Jeong-ja's men accidentally break the gate while trying to capture Sang-un. Using the confusion, Sang-un runs inside the lab. Inside, Anna brings out the money and mocks Sang-un's lack of morals. As Sang-un is strapped to a chair, fear slowly takes over. He begins to doubt his choice. Just as the extraction device is about to enter his head, a loud gunshot echoes through the room. Hoin appears with a sniper rifle and shoots at Sang-un, stopping the procedure at the very last second. Hoin speaks seriously to Eunmi and says there is no other option left now. They must save Sang-un and also destroy the mundane vanguard completely. Inside the lab, Wando calls Joanna. Anna proudly says she has finally caught Sang-un. Without mercy, she orders her men to extract his superpower and then kill him. Sang-un tries to delay his death. He boldly tells Anna that he has joined the superhero society to protect his normal life from people like her. Outside the lab, Eunmi cuts off the power, causing a blackout. At the same time, Hoen shoots the bag of money. As the cash spills out, Sang-un activates his power and attacks the enemies. The sudden counterattack forces Anna to retreat and escape. A flashback then explains the truth. During the so-called truce, the mundane vanguard was secretly following Sang-un, Hoen, and Eunmi. Knowing this, the trio pretended to fight and distrust each other. Their real goal was always to enter the lab's core room and collect strong evidence. Back in the present, Hoen and Sang-un break open a safe and steal important files. They set the lab on fire and try to escape. Just then, reinforcements arrive. In the middle of this chaos, Min-suk suddenly calls Sang-un and calmly reminds him about an official family dinner in 2 days. During the escape, Sang-un loses the bag containing 4 billion won. The shock is so ridiculous that he starts laughing at his terrible luck. After escaping safely, the trio reads the stolen files. They discover that the mundane vanguard is creating a dangerous substance using superpowers. These illegal trials cause addiction and hallucinations. They also find a personal letter from Nathan to Sang-un. In it, Nathan says he admires Sang-un for helping people without seeking credit. The scene cuts to Nathan laughing, enjoying the chaos Anna has created. Soo-yeon, who works under him, informs him that the extracted superpowers have been moved to Gim-hae Bank. The trio breaks into Nathan's registered apartment but finds only a telescope. When they look through it, they are horrified. It is pointed at a nearby building where confused people are jumping off the roof. Nathan appears nearby, smiling and waving at Sang-un, leaving him shaken. Later, Sang-un returns home and finds Min-suk asleep while waiting for him. She cooked dinner and left a note asking him not to push himself too hard. He sees how hard she is working to buy the apartment and feels guilty. On top of that, his boss announces a 3-month salary cut because of his earlier actions. Things get worse when Sang-un is officially called to the police station. Hoen behaves like a loud lawyer, but Detective Hwang calmly stops him. Hwang simply warns them to stop before things go too far. Hoen then reveals that Hwang was once part of their group, but left because he disagreed with their methods. Meanwhile, at the Jo family house, Nathan and Anna openly clash. Anna mocks Nathan's smoothie habit and recalls how she once shot his ear as a child. When Wando arrives, Anna complains that Nathan is drawing too much attention. Nathan explains that heroes always interfere, and he is using this chaos to lure Sang-un. Wando approves and puts Nathan in charge. A new mission is given. A drug dealer named Hermes is selling mundane vanguard drugs. The mission must be done on the same day as Sang-un's family dinner. Sang-un believes he can manage both, especially when Min-suk spends money so he can wear a perfect suit. On the day of the mission, Hoen waits outside as the driver, while Eunmi and Sang-un enter a nightclub. Their only clue is a red bag. Sang-un finds Hermes and is shocked to see she is Soo-yeon. She has super speed, steals his wallet, and tears his suit, but lets him go on Nathan's order. Eunmi and Sang-un escape with the red bag full of drugs and reach the dance floor. Suddenly, Nathan throws money into the crowd and announces that whoever gets the red bag can keep it. Chaos erupts. Eun-mi is knocked unconscious and drunk club-goers pile on to Song-eun as he clutches the bag. His suit is completely torn. Buried under people, Song-eun bitterly realizes that this is the worst possible time for a family dinner, while Min-suk keeps calling him, waiting awkwardly at home with both families unaware of what is happening. Joanna storms into the research lab in anger. She quickly notices that the ampules containing the extracted superpowers are missing. She immediately understands that Nathan has betrayed her and secretly taken them for himself. At the nightclub, Nathan's men are about to capture Sang-young, but the police suddenly raid the place. Detective Huang spots Sang-young in the crowd. Before Huang can reach him, Ho-in quickly pulls Sang-young and Eun-mi away, and the three escape safely. Outside, Ho-in and Eun-mi feel guilty about what Sang-young suffered. They clean his wounds, help him change, and send him to attend his family dinner. Unfortunately, Detective Huang arrives at the dinner before Sang-young. In front of both families, he questions Min-suk. When Sang-young arrives, he hears Min-suk strongly defending him. She says Sang-young helps people out of responsibility, not for fame. Touched by her words, Sang-young apologizes. Min-suk comforts him and says everything will be fine. Right after this emotional moment, the police arrest Sang-young. At the same time, Joanna approaches Ho-in and Eun-mi with a new plan. At the police station, Huang scolds Sang-young and says superheroes are not above the law. He believes reckless hero actions hurt innocent people. Sang-young argues that people with power must help others, but Huang refuses to agree and officially charges him. Later, Nathan visits Sang-young in the holding cell and reveals the truth. He has been controlling everything from the start: the bus accident, the bullies, and the planted evidence. His plan is to kidnap Sang-young during the police transfer. When Sang-young shows no fear, Nathan threatens Min-suk, forcing him to cooperate. Meanwhile, Min-suk finds Sang-young's loan papers and is shocked. She goes to meet Jongja to protect him. On the way, Nathan's men tried to kidnap her. Min-suk boldly calls Jongja and reveals that she knows she is Sang-young's collateral. She warns that losing her means losing Sang-young too. Jongja's men arrive just in time and rescue her. During Sang-young's police transfer, Nathan's men disguise themselves as officers and take custody of Sang-young. Sang-young finally fights back, and in a surprise twist, Anna's bodyguard helps him escape. Sang-young then learns that Ho-in and Eun-mi are working with Anna. At Ho-in's house, Anna explains her deal. Nathan has created a dangerous superpower drug approved by the FDA. She wants them to steal the ampules from Gimhae Bank and destroy Nathan. But the trio realizes Anna plans to betray them. They decide to destroy not only the ampules, but also all the money and assets in the vault to completely ruin the mundane vanguard. Elsewhere, Nathan kills 2 board members who oppose him. Won-do is furious, but gives Nathan one last chance to capture Sang-young. Min-suk begs Sang-young to stop risking his life, but he insists it is his responsibility. Determined to stand beside him, Min-suk takes a 30 million won loan from Jongja. She learns Gimhae Bank once belonged to Jongja and realizes Sang-young was dragged into this for a reason. She gives the money to Sang-young and tells him she has important information. Detective Huang reviews his case files and notices a pattern. All targets are powerful people linked to Bomha, and every major incident involves Sang-young and Bomha Ranch. He concludes that someone inside Bomha is manipulating Sang-young and planning to destroy him at Gimhae Bank. The trio arrives at Gimhae Bank. Anna secretly orders her men to steal the ampules and capture Sang-young if Nathan appears. Ho-in pretends to be a normal customer opening a safety deposit box. Eun-mi sneaks in through the back. Sang-young walks in openly and introduces himself. The staff recognizes him, panics, kicks everyone out, and locks down the bank. Outside, Anna orders a forced break-in. Inside, armed security surrounds Sang-young with guns. Calm and fearless, Sang-young looks around and asks quietly, "Is everyone ready?" The next scene opens inside Gimhae Bank. Song-eun distracts the armed security guards by standing in front and keeping their attention on himself. While everyone is focused on him, Ho-in quietly slips away and enters the bank vault. At the same time, Eunmi brings Anna's men inside the bank, but things quickly go wrong. Anna's men get into a violent fight with Gimhae's security team. In the middle of all this chaos, Song-eun, Ho-in, and Eunmi finally reunite inside the vault room. But the situation becomes even worse. Waiting for them inside the vault are Soo-yeon, Nathan, and Nathan's men. Realizing the danger, Ho-in forcefully pushes Song-eun into another room to protect him. Inside that room, Song-eun is shocked to see piles and piles of money belonging to Won-do. Using this money, Song-eun regains his strength and starts fighting back. He throws money at Nathan's men and even Soo-yeon, overpowering them one by one. Ho-in and Eunmi manage to escape safely, but Song-eun stays behind. In the end, only Nathan is left standing. Just as Song-eun is about to reach him, Nathan uses his power. Song-eun suddenly freezes and collapses. He loses consciousness. When he wakes up, he finds himself sitting in Detective Hwang's car. Song-eun tries to use his power, but it does not work anymore. Hwang explains that his power stopped working because he used other people's money, not his own. Hwang wants him to stay out of trouble and stop risking everything. Song-eun tries to explain his theory. He believes Nathan plans to sell pills that give people superpowers for a short time. However, Hwang does not agree. He coldly says that evil people have always existed and done bad things throughout history. According to him, it is not Song-eun's responsibility to stop them. Disappointed and powerless, Song-eun is left with no answers. After everyone leaves the bank, Anna finally shows up. She successfully takes the ampules containing the extracted superpowers, but her victory is short-lived. Cheongja suddenly arrives with her men. They overpower Anna and begin breaking into a room next to the vault, taking control of the situation. Elsewhere, Song-eun pours his heart out to his father, Dong-gi. He angrily says that fighting is useless because the game is already rigged against people like them. Dong-gi calmly responds that money was never their reason for fighting. He explains that once Song-eun understands what truly matters more than money, his powers will return. Dong-gi then gives Song-eun his old piggy bank from childhood, which he once broke out of desperation. This small moment carries deep emotional weight. At Bamha, Won-do explodes in anger. He is furious at Nathan for failing to capture Song-eun and decides to send him out of the country. But before he can act, Cheongja interrupts. She reveals a hidden ledger taken from Gimhae Bank. The ledger proves that Won-do's father borrowed money from Cheongja's father to build their empire. Cheongja demands her money back and takes all the cash stored in the bank. While Won-do is distracted, Nathan suddenly kidnaps Min-suk. He threatens to kill her unless Song-eun obeys him. Min-suk refuses to give in to fear. Instead of begging, she encourages Song-eun and tells Nathan that Song-eun will never lose. Her faith and strength deeply annoy Nathan, but it also shows how strong her love is. Back at the precinct, Detective Hwang looks at his broken watch. He thinks about Song-eun collapsing before the police reached the bank. Hwang tells his colleagues that Song-eun has not committed any crime. He quietly states that time is more valuable than money, hinting at his changing perspective. Meanwhile, Soo-yeon appears in front of Song-eun. She tells him he is useless without his powers and challenges him to a test. If he can defeat her, she will take him to Min-suk. Sadly, Song-eun's powers have not returned. Soo-yeon easily beats him. Just in time, Eunmi and Ho-in arrive and knock Soo-yeon out, saving Song-eun once again. Ho-in reveals critical information. Min-suk is being held at Bamha Logistics, which is heavily guarded like a fortress. Ho-in wants to plan carefully before attacking. But Song-eun refuses to wait. He cannot risk Min-suk's life for a moment. The next day, Song-eun goes alone to Bamha Logistics. As he walks forward, he finally understands his father's words. Protecting someone you love and fighting for what matters is more important than money. With this realization in his heart, Song-un climbs to the top of the building and jumps off the roof, ready to face whatever comes next.
Then, the story reaches its climax at Byumha Logistics. Even though Song-eun goes there alone, Eunmi and Hoin arrive to support him. Song-eun's powers return, and together they fight the mundane vanguard floor by floor. For a short moment, it feels like they might win, but soon Song-eun runs out of money. That is when Nathan reveals his cruel plan. He has planted a bomb inside the elevator and threatens to kill Min-suk unless Song-eun gives up his power. In the chaos, Song-eun drags Nathan into the elevator. Min-suk begs him to stop, but Song-eun calmly says he's just glad he could save her. He detonates the bomb, killing both himself and Nathan. The aftermath is devastating. News reports show people across the city suffering hallucinations and violent behavior from Byumha's new drug. Min-suk is broken with grief. Hoin comforts her and reminds her that Detective Hwang has the power to turn back time. At the same time, Anna discovers Hwang's secret ability. At the police station, chaos erupts as Anna's men arrive. Soo-yeon unexpectedly helps Min-suk and admits she is also going back to the past. Min-suk begs Hwang to save Song-eun, though Hwang warns that changing the past always comes at a heavy cost. Min-suk accepts it, even knowing her life will be shortened. Moved by her love, Hwang sends her back to just before the explosion. This time, everything changes. Min-suk puts money into Song-eun's hand before the bomb explodes. Song-eun survives, but Min-suk loses her memories. Nathan also survives because of Soo-yeon's interference. Enraged, Nathan attacks Anna and Won-do. Anna is killed, and Won-do's kidnapped by Jongja. Nathan, badly injured, injects himself with all the superpower ampules. He becomes unstable and violent, kills Soo-yeon, and goes on a destructive rampage. Nathan attacks a residential area and calls Song-eun. Song-eun saves a little girl and tries to reason with Nathan, but fails. Hoin and Eunmi come to help but are knocked out. Song-eun runs out of money again, and Nathan mocks him, saying no one will help. Suddenly, the little girl throws money at Song-eun and asks others to help too. One by one, people, Min-suk, and even the police throw money to support him. Touched and overwhelmed, Song-eun realizes the true meaning of strength. With Eunmi and Hoin's help, Song-eun finally defeats Nathan for good. Peace slowly returns. Jongja exposes Won-do's corruption, and he is put on trial. Detective Hwang is seen wearing a new watch, showing he has accepted his power and left the past behind. Eunmi reunites with Hwa Jin, who is revealed to be the owner of the bakery Bun and Me. Hoin begins repairing his relationship with his daughter, who gives him another chance. The story ends on a hopeful note. Song-eun and Min-suk buy their new apartment. Min-suk finally shares her long-held news. She is pregnant. Through tears and smiles, they promise to work hard and protect their family, ready to begin a new, peaceful life together.